Hey y'all, welcome to LoveGrind. I'm Ebony, your host, and I'm so glad that you decided to join me tonight. Tonight we're going to talk about halo and horn effects. I don't know if you've heard of that before. I know I just learned about it, and it makes a lot of sense, so it's something to really resonate with us love addicts. So let's get right into it. If you haven't already joined our podcast, we are a podcast about love addiction and codependency. Let's get started. Tonight we're diving into something that I think every love addict and every codependent person has felt, but maybe didn't have the words for: the halo effect and the horn effect. These two little psychological biases might be the very things that keep us stuck in toxic cycles. Falling too fast, staying too long, or running too hard. And if you're a love addict like me, or like so many of us who've been there, these effects can feel like the entire lens we view our partners through. So grab your coffee, your tea, your wine, I'm not judging, and let's grind through this together. Well, what are the halo and horn effects? Let's start with some definitions. Don't worry, I'll keep it quick. The halo effect is when you take one good quality about someone and you let it color everything else about them. Like you meet a guy who's super charming, or a girl, and they make you laugh so hard you cry. And suddenly you believe they must also be trustworthy, kind, loyal, emotionally available, all the things you want them to be. It's like you've put a glowing angel halo above their head, and now you're blinded to their flaws. On the flip side, the horn effect is the opposite. You notice one negative thing, a mistake, a flaw, a bad habit, and suddenly in your mind, they're all bad. That one horn pokes through, and now that's all you can see. Here's the kicker. For a love addict, these two biases don't just show up, take over. How it looks to a love addict and how do we get hooked? Okay, picture this. You're a love addict, hungry for connection, for intensity, for the high of new love. And you meet someone who lights you up. Maybe they compliment you in a way no one has. Maybe they share something deep early on. Maybe they just look at you like you're the only person in the room. Boom, the halo effect hits. Now you're not just attracted to them, you're idolizing them. You're telling yourself stories about who they are. Ooh, if they're passionate, they must be capable of deep love. If she's this ambitious, she'll also be reliable and stable. Or if he chooses me, then I must finally be worthy. And because love addicts crave intensity, we don't just see the halo, we chase it, worship it, build our whole fantasy future around it. But here's the dangerous part, love bugs. The halo blinds us. Red flags start popping up. Maybe he doesn't text back. Maybe they're inconsistent. Maybe they drink too much. But our brains push this aside because they don't fit the glowing picture. Now fast forward. The high wears off, right? The reality shows up. That's when the horn effect can swing in. Suddenly, all the flaws feel magnified. The very thing that drew you in, the passion, the ambition, charm, can twist into its shadow side. Passion becomes obsessiveness. Ambition becomes, they never have time for me though. And charm becomes manipulative. And as love addicts, we don't see the whole person. We ping pong between angel and devil, between halo and horns, and we miss the human being standing right in front of us. Let me tell you guys something about myself. I remember being in this relationship where from day one, I was convinced this man was the one. He was attentive, he made me laugh, and he told me I was beautiful in ways I had never heard before. And in my head, I thought, he sees me, he really sees me. Let's not leave out he was fine. That was the halo. So when he showed up late and when he canceled plans, when he snapped at me, I just made excuses for him, like he's just stressed or he's working too hard or he doesn't mean that. But eventually, the cracks grew too wide, and one day, couldn't ignore them anymore. And suddenly, the halo shattered, and I saw only the horns in two of them, not just a peek of one. And I thought, he's a liar, he's cruel, he never even loved me. And the truth, he was both. He was a human, good and bad, kind and flawed, but as a love addict, I didn't know how to live in the gray. I only saw extremes. Even with my emotions, it was extreme. Now that I've been learning myself, I learned how to balance that a little bit. It doesn't have to be all the way up to 100, and it doesn't have to be below 0. Why us love addicts are vulnerable. So why does this hit love addicts so hard? Well, because we're not just falling for the person, we're falling for the story. The halo effect feeds our fantasy. It gives us the chemical high, the dopamine, oxytocin, adrenaline. It feels like a drug because it literally is. And the horn effect, that plays right into our fears of abandonment, rejection, or worthlessness. When someone disappoints us, it's not just a bad moment. It feels like the end of the world, like proof that we were wrong to hope, wrong to trust, and wrong to believe in love. This cycle keeps us hooked. We're either clinging to the halo or running from the horns, but we never feel steady. And it's so important to feel steady with yourself so you know what you're seeing, what you're looking at. Well, how do we break this cycle? How do we step out of this trap? Here's a few tips that can maybe help. Slow down a little bit. Don't rush into labeling someone the one or the worst. Give yourself time to gather evidence, right? Maybe do a reality check. When you catch yourself idolizing, ask, what do I not know yet? Okay, when you catch yourself demonizing, ask, well, what's still good about the person? Balance the scales. Talk it out. Love addicts often live in their own heads, right? So get feedback from a trusted friend or a therapist. So people who can see what you can't. Hold the gray. Practice reminding yourself that people are both good and flawed, and that someone can disappoint you but still care for you, and someone can love you and still not be right for you. And turn the lens inward. The more you work on your own healing, the less you'll need halos or fair horns. You'll be able to see people clearly because you'll be standing on solid ground yourself. Always that self, right? The halo and the horn effects are powerful, but they don't have to run your love life. Once you see them for what they are, mental shortcuts, tricks of the mind, you can catch yourself. You can breathe. You can choose differently. As love addicts, we deserve to see people clearly, not as angels, not as devils, but as human beings who can either walk with us or not. Are you down for the cause or are you not? So if you find yourself painting halos or horns on the people you love, just pause, step back for a minute and ask yourself, what's real here? That's where freedom begins. Thanks for joining me tonight on LoveGrind. I hope you learned something, and I hope you use empathy in all the decisions you make this week. And until next time, I'm out.